I'm your host, Josie Van Dyke, and I am sitting next to who was my first guest ever and my last guest of 2025, Miranda Hope, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome back to Weekly Trash.
Thank you. Thanks for
Third
having
time's
me.
the charm.
Right?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We have seen your life blow up.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Lots of different phases every time I come.
Lots of different phases. First
Yes.
phase was post-swinging scandal.
Yes.
Second phase was post-divorce.
Yes.
Post season 1 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, where you said, it's not for me. I'm not going to do it. Why would I do that?
And here I am eating my words.
You are, which we need to dissect it. We need a dumpster deep dive. What changed? Because that was only not even, I think it was a year ago, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe a little over a year ago.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how much can change in such a little bit of time? Yeah.
So much. Well, and I always look back at the fact that we went to aesthetic school together.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw somebody make a TikTok of like old photos of you and Chase. And one of them was like the skin science graduation.
Bye.
Sorry to interrupt, but today's episode is brought to you by Cozy Earth. You guys know how much I love Cozy Earth. And with the new year coming, I always want to make a fresh start at home. And Cozy Earth is the easiest way to do that. Their Baja bedding set is gorgeous with a full matching collection inspired by the textures and colors of Baja California. It instantly makes your bed feel like a resort. And their Luxe bath towels, oh my gosh, obsessed. So soft and plush, made with a blend of cotton and viscose from bamboo using a zero twist technology. They dry fast and feel amazing. For me, resetting my home helps me feel more rested and ready to take on the year. And Cozy Earth truly delivers that luxury. Plus, like I've said before, it's risk-free with a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. Start that new year right and head to CozyEarth.com and use code WeeklyTrash for up to 20% off. And don't forget to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here on Weekly Trash. And thank you, Cozy Earth, for sponsoring today's episode and making my life so much more cozy. Today's episode is brought to you by Moon Brew. If you're like me and you want something sweet before bed, but the problem is eating sugar right before bed is actually terrible for your body and your sleep quality, there is a drink. I started drinking Moon Brew instead, and you guys, it has changed my life. It has completely curbed the late night sweet tooth and actually helps me sleep better. Moon Brew is a melatonin-free, natural, expert formulated sleep supplement from their in-home medical board, and you can use it every night. Plus, the flavors, insanely good. Hot cocoa, coconut chocolate, vanilla, all low calorie, low sugar, and so satisfying. And if you follow me on Instagram, you also saw me post about their gummies, the same melatonin-free, natural expert formulated goodness, but in gummy form for anyone who doesn't want a warm drink before bed. I've been using it and been sleeping great, so has Pedro. And you can use code WeeklyTrash to get 20% off your purchase at moonbrew.co. Try it. Let me know what you think. I'm a huge fan of Moon Brew. And thank you, Moon Brew, for sponsoring today's episode. Chase was wearing like ripped whole jeans.
Oh, like, it was like very 2017 coded.
2017 coded. And I was like, times have changed.
And honestly, thank goodness. No. I think we both look better now.
I think everybody has grown up since 2016, 2017. Yes. Like that, the vibes were bad.
I think it's funny too because so many people, I've seen so many TikToks of people doing old photos of us and like trying to dissect what kind of work we've had done and everything. And I'm like, it's so funny because I'm like, you guys don't understand that one, aging, first of all.
Yeah, you grew up.
I grew up. And the other thing is like weight loss. I'm like, it's crazy the difference.
The baby face.
Yes. Like I've had so many people, I've read so many different accusations about me getting, I don't know what the actual term for it is, but it's like you shave your jaw down.
What?
Like your chin, like my chin. I'm like, that sounds like the most terrifying surgery ever.
No, and I didn't do that.
I'm like, nope, no jaw shaving for me. But yeah, I think we all just grew up mostly. I mean, obviously, like we've all had little things here and there.
Yeah, what little things have you done?
I've done Botox.
Same.
And then I have like my no prep veneers and then Botox. Oh, and I have implants, but I've never had filler.
You've never had lip filler? Mm-mm. Your lips have always been that
I just overline them to the nines, honestly.
Well, they look fabulous.
Thank you.
Fabulous. But every time I look at old pictures, it is crazy how much everyone's like changed appearance wise, but it is mostly growing up.
Yes. It makes a huge because I'm like, if anyone looks at old pictures of themselves, they look completely different.
Even like makeup routines change.
Yes, makeup
Hair
routines.
changes.
Styles change. Like
Everything
eyebrow
changes.
like trends. Like there's so many different things that go
Everything.
into it. Yeah.
Were you an eyelash extension girl? Like, did you
I've
ever
never
wear...
been an eyelash extension girl.
See, that's where it gets me is when I look back at old photos of me with eyelash extensions. I'm like, who is she?
Who?
I have caterpillars on my eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, but no, we need to dumpster deep dive everything that's happened.
Okay,
So,
let's do it. Yes.
First things first, Chase came on the podcast.
He did.
And ever since then, people have lots of questions. They're like, wait, I need to know Miranda's POV. Like, what happened? Because last episode when we talked about your divorce, you were very like nonchalant. He didn't cheat. We just grew apart. Things happened. Chase did admit to the fact that he had an emotional affair, was a cheater. What was your POV through all that? Do you feel like he was honest throughout that interview?
Yeah, obviously there's so many layers to it. I think a lot of people, expect there to be one thing that happens in a relationship that ultimately leads to the demise of it. But for us, there was a combination of things over the span of a lot of years. And, obviously, yeah, those things that he talked about being some of them. And, I'll never really get into like the nitty gritty. And I never even expected him to like open up about anything.
Yeah.
And so I commend him for that. And really not even for his sake. I mean, I guess partially just for our co-parenting relationship, but that's more so just for my kid's sake, because I'm like, any like nefarious activities that Chase has been involved in, I would prefer that my kids find that out from us and not online. Because one day they'll be old enough to ask, they'll be curious, and I know that. And I also have people all the time, they're like, well, what are your kids going to think when they find out about the swinging thing? And I'm like, I'm really not worried about that, because guess what? When they ask me about it one day, I'm going to tell them straight up, like, use me as an example of like what not to do. I think like our parents' generation, a lot of the time it was like, well, they're going to think that since I did this, like it's okay for them to do it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's not the approach I have as a parent. For me, I'm like, I'm not going to be ashamed of the mistakes I made, because I'm human and my kids are human, and it's all to be expected that we all make mistakes. And for me, I'm going to use it as a, look, this is why you don't do this. Maybe this is why you really think long and hard about getting married and who you're marrying and how young you are. And, everything that, everyone goes through mistakes when they're growing up, and especially growing up in a very predominantly Mormon area where a lot of things are stunted, your emotional capacity being one of them, and maturity. And I think those are all things that I'm going to be open with my kids about. So yeah.
I'm the same way. I feel like if we tell our kids our flaws, it can help them hopefully not have the same ones.
Yeah.
And if they do, it's okay, because we're human.
We're here. And like, look, I was able to alchemize, shitty things that I went through.
Yeah.
And so can you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you're a great example too of like knowing your worth and standing up for yourself, because you chose like, no, I deserve more. I deserve better. Like, we're getting a divorce, which I commend you for, because that's a hard thing to do, especially when you have kids, to be like, oh, now we're going to have to do this whole co-parenting thing, which I think you guys do so seamlessly. Yeah, that's the word.
Thank you.
Seamlessly. And I think that's very commendable. And I think your kids are going to appreciate that the more and more they get older. But we did find out that you guys aren't legally divorced, which some people thought you guys were legally divorced.
Right.
So how'd you feel about him saying that? And why aren't you guys legally divorced from your POV?
It's really just not that deep, truly. Yeah. I think that's why I was like, ugh, this is probably going to make people think that, oh, are they going to get back together? Oh, there's still hope left. And I'm like, no, it's really like, there's a few things that go into it, but like ultimately what it really is that I started filming shortly after. And it's just been like, I also didn't realize how back-to-back filming would be. Yeah. And so it's just been like one thing after the next. And I think a lot of people are in a rush to do it, because oftentimes it's a very tumultuous situation. And luckily, like, that's not the case for us. And, we both agreed like really early on most things. Like, it really just comes down to like a few things being submitted, and that's really truly all it is. And so I was like, ugh, I don't want people to think, like, read into it, because you know how the internet is.
Yeah.
But really, that's all it is. And it's, like, basically a click away from being done. So
Just a little click.
Little click.
Will you make the click, or at this point you're like, we'll just wait until we find
No,
someone?
I think now that, like, people know, I'm even more, like, because it has been something that's been giving me anxiety. But it's just another thing. It's like a mental load thing.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, I like want to get this like done and over with, especially because I'm like, there's no going back for me ever. Never, ever, ever. And so I'm like, it's just paperwork.
Nail in the coffin.
But emotionally,
Do you think Chase would be okay if you guys never officially signed the papers and you just waited until you found your next person?
To me, I'm like, if I were to be, I don't know. I don't think so, because when it comes to dating, like, if I were to start dating someone and then to find out, like, I'd be like, that's weird. You know, like, it would make me feel some type of way.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, why would we not? And I also think it's just kind of like a chapter closed, even though, like, emotionally that chapter's closed. For me, I just think I think it would be good for, it's kind of like when people cut their hair or something, you know, it's just like that, like, history is
the emotional baggage.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
You guys got married in the temple at one point, right? Yeah. Are you going to get a temple divorce?
Oh, well, Chase, like, I haven't officially removed my name.
Okay.
But Chase has.
did.
So I don't think you need to.
Interesting.
If you're like no longer a member.
That makes sense.
And also, it's like, if you don't really, like, buy into that anymore, you don't really, I don't see the use.
That was my question. If like you even cared to do that, since you don't believe in that anymore.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Are you going to remove your name? Or is that another thing where you're like, I really don't care?
You know, that's a good question. The reason I haven't thus far is a big, well, one, again, it's another one. Maybe it's really my ADHD why I'm not handling all these things I should be handling.
Just another thing on the list.
I'm like, great. I have anxiety again. Reminder.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, sorry.
I'm like, great. What else do I need to do, Josie?
Yeah.
No, I think it was tough for my family.
Yeah.
And I think, like, we're at a really great place now, and they've been so great, so supportive and loving with my journey through, you know, my faith journey and stepping away from the church and everything. But I think, I mean, it's a big deal when you remove your name, and
if your parents believe in it,
my whole family,
that affects your eternal family.
Exactly. And I think that's really heavy for them. And so for me, I'm like, you know what? Like, I can be honest with them with where I'm at emotionally. But again, it's one of those, you know, to me, it's like paperwork.
Yeah.
That's how I view it. It's paperwork, but, like, emotionally, mentally, like, I feel differently about it. But like, for them, it means something to them, and I can respect that it means something to them. So it's not, it would be one thing if it really emotionally made me feel some type of way where it's like, well, I still feel so attached to this because some people do feel that way. And I know Chase felt more so that way, and he didn't feel comfortable being counted as a member if he didn't actually consider himself that, which I totally understand. And I get that, but I'm like, I didn't want to rush into that when emotions were still high, and I didn't feel a need to do it at the time. So maybe eventually, but I'm not, it's not at the forefront. It's not at the top of my to-do list.
The divorce is
much
first.
like the divorce, 100%.
Divorce first.
That one comes first.
Then it's like, remove records at the very bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. But you still believe in God. You wear cross necklaces all the time. So
I still consider myself Christian. Yeah.
Okay. So do you plan on teaching your kids Christian values? Because that's also hard, like, when your family still believes in that. Like, do they expect your son to be baptized and things like that?
No, they do not. I think that what I really realized too with the church is that what I really believed in and what I aligned with were all core Christian values.
Yeah.
There was nothing uniquely Mormon about my belief system that was something that I, like, everything that I've taken with me from the church, again, they're all core Christian values.
Yeah.
And just good ethics and morals. And so those are the things that I want to teach my kids. But overall, like, I am more spiritual than I've ever been before in my life. I feel like I have a better and closer relationship with God than I ever have before in my entire life. And it's just so crazy because it's on my own terms now, and you don't realize how much of that can be tainted and, like, withheld when you feel like there's a cap on it, or you have to conform to it looking a certain way. And I just feel like I am so much more aligned ever since I like made that decision for myself and reformed the way that I look at religion and spirituality and what I believe in. I feel like I have become so much more authentic. I mean, you even look at like our first podcast versus now, I feel like I'm a completely different person. I'm so much more authentic in who I am, how I present myself. I'm way more like open and transparent, and I don't feel like I need to apologize for who I am and how I am and what I believe. And it's, yeah, I feel like I'm totally different. I'm very grateful for that, but I have, you know, my spirituality and my now relationship with God to thank for that.
I love that. I think that's such a good reminder for people who might be struggling with their faith, where they feel like, okay, if I leave the faith I believe in, I'm going to feel so lost and I'm not going to have anything.
Right.
Where like you're proof that like you can leave and be even more faithful in Christ and like have a strong belief system still, even if you're not part of whatever organized religion you're 100%, part of.
100%.
Back to marriage though, because you are in the process of getting divorced and you did experience being cheated on. Do you have any advice to any women who are in a relationship where they're being cheated on?
Oh, girl, get up and get out. First and foremost, I really hate to say once a cheater, always a cheater, because I don't know that I fully believe that. But I do feel like, you know, there's been some one-offs that I feel like, you know, maybe aren't, you know, I think Taylor's a great example. Yeah. I don't see her ever doing that again in another relationship. I really don't. And there were, you know, a lot of things that played into, you know, her story as well.
Yeah.
But overall, I feel like if you do it once, you'll do it again for the most part. And I've seen it in many different relationships. And you cannot love somebody into integrity. They either have it or they don't. And to me, like having integrity, that is at the very top of my list when it comes to who I look for in a partner. And if you cheat yourself, you'll cheat everyone else. And if you know, I think that's something that builds confidence too, is if you can make promises to yourself and you can keep those, that's integrity. And that like builds confidence in who you are as a person. And if somebody doesn't have that, then, and they don't value that in themselves, they're not going to value your qualities that you have. And so, yeah, I think that, and also, you know, you'll get betrayed in life, whether it be by friendships, or relationships, with romantic partners, but not treating that betrayal as a mirror for your self-worth is so incredibly important, because more often than not, it has nothing to do with you. It's not what you lack, it's what they lack. And so, and that's one thing that I will say. I have my flaws, I have my faults 100%, but I feel like, you know, my mom and dad, I think, to thank for a lot of this and the way that I was raised and the confidence they helped instill in me. But I think I always knew it was a him problem. You know, and that doesn't mean there wasn't times where I was like, well, like, you know, what's so wrong with me, or
what can I do to be better?
Exactly. Yeah. But like I said, you can't love somebody into integrity. And no matter how great you are, you know, if they don't have the fulfillment that they within themselves that they need to have, then they're never going to give you what you deserve. And so, yeah, I think that if they don't have those things and those qualities and that integrity, I think that you're kind of SOL.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that can come. I think it does sometimes, but I do feel like those are kind of one-offs, and more often than not, if, you know, they're not going to change for you. They have to do it for themselves. And unfortunately, that doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. And that was great advice. And you're so well spoken the way you talk about it, because you can't love somebody into integrity. And I feel like a lot of people lose that. They're like, well, if I can change him, like I'm special. I'm the one he's going to be better for me. Yep.
Yes. And
why waste your energy on that? Go be in love with someone who potential you don't have fake. To change.
Yes. Potential is fake. It's not a real thing. Anyone can have potential. Yeah. That means nothing. Potential is completely empty. And if you meet someone and you have to be okay with marrying them how they are that very moment. There cannot be, you need to plan for that version of them for the rest of your life, because forever. Most likely that's the version you're going to get. Obviously there's like room for improvement and growth and involvement. But I mean, by the time you meet your person, they're pretty set in their ways.
Yeah.
So to have an expectation for them that's so like made out of thin air, it's unrealistic, and you're really only just doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, you're letting yourself down.
Right.
And it all comes back to like your own self-worth, like what you think you're worthy of.
100%. And I used to be Mrs. Fix-It. I mean, I've friendships. My like mom all the time, she's like, you, ever since you were young, like you just have always attracted friendships that just you have some sort of like antidote to a wound that they have, which I think is like something that I think is I like about myself.
Yeah, it's a great quality.
But also my downfall too is that it can be to an extent where I'm giving and I'm not receiving enough in return. And it ends up, I'm just give, and I'm thinking I can fix somebody and I can't. And, it's taken a handful of betrayals in my life to realize that and to set more boundaries and be more firm in those boundaries and, not allow myself to be taken advantage of. And now I can say that, like, when somebody does me dirty, I'm like, I can cut you off. And
yeah.
And like, I've learned that over time, but yeah, you can't fix somebody. That's not your job. If they want to change, it's ultimately always going to be up to them.
Well, and Chase said on his episode that like, you're very intentional with the people who you let in. And that is so important, to be intentional with the people that you give your energy to.
Yes.
And I think we all need to be more like that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who will use people who have good intentions and who want to fix and who want to be there for people.
Yep.
And you can't waste your energy on that.
You can't.
You have to be intentional.
100%. And I think that's, through my spiritual journey, I think I've recognized a lot of that. And I think I'm a lot more sensitive and intuitive when it comes to those energies. And I think pretty quickly I can tell if somebody's energy is something that I'm okay with having around me and being around me. And I also, with my job being what it is, I don't have the capacity to be around people that are going to drain me. It just, I don't have the bandwidth.
Yeah.
And I have no patience for it these days. And so for me, I'm like, if you don't fill my cup, if you don't add value to my life, then bye.
See you later.
Yeah.
Speaking of your job and the show, and all these new people that drain your energy, we need to talk about how that happened. Because like I said last time, I asked if you got approached and you were like, duh. Like, yeah, of course I got approached. Yeah. But obviously you didn't say duh. You were much nicer than that. That's what I would have said. I'd be like, duh, of course I got approached. I was OG mom talk. But, you had said like, it's just not for me. Like my life got exploited online. Like, why would I choose to do that? Yeah. Obviously that's changed. Yeah. So what happened after that episode that made the switch? Did production reach out to you? Did you think, maybe I'll look into this more? Did you reach out to production? Like, give me the rundown.
I want to say it was about 2 days after season 1 aired.
Okay.
And I remember sitting on my couch and I got a missed call from one of the producers that is at the production company, Jeff Jenkins Production, who obviously produces Secret Lives. And he texted me and was like, hey, like, I'd love to chat. Give me a call if you can, whatever. And I was like, oh, that was quick.
Yeah.
But, obviously, especially with how quick the turnaround time is, they get on it real quick.
Yeah. No breaks.
Yes. And so I remember, and this all goes back to, some may call it wooey. Some might think it's kind of esoteric, but I feel like my spirituality is it can kind of lean a little wooey. So like angel numbers, all that, to me, all of that is signs from the universe, from God. That's something that I believe.
Yeah.
And I remember I sat down to call, because I was like, do I call him back right now? I don't know. And I got a few things done and I like sat down to call him back. I remember plugging my phone in because it was almost dead. And I was like, maybe I'll give him a call back. And I like went to hit the call button and it was 555 on the on my phone. And I like remember just getting like full body chills and just being like, that like feels like there's a deeper meaning. Like that feels like there's something that, and I remember looking up 555 right after that. And it's basically, it means like big things are coming, like changes ahead, like positive changes, like for the better, is basically like the meaning of it. And then I remember having a conversation with him. And then after that, I talked to family and friends about it. And to be honest, most people were still kind of against it.
Yeah.
Especially because you hear about reality TV and like all the chaos that comes with it. And so I was so torn, but I couldn't, no matter like what, I just felt so differently about it. I could not shake it. Even though I'm like, I know most people are not on board with this, but like I feel so differently about this than I did with season 1. And it just was like a gut feeling, an intuition, call it whatever. But I just knew it was different. And so I'm like, I have to see this through. Like I have to see it through. And, I think now with where I am, I look back and it makes a lot of sense. And obviously I'm glad for a multitude of reasons that I ended up following through with it. And I think it's helped me really become my most authentic self, truly. Because when else are you in situations where you're like you're put in a place with a bunch of people around you and you need to confront something and you're scared to, especially somebody who like has some people pleasing tendencies like I have and doesn't really love confrontation. Mm-hmm. And it's basically exposure therapy.
Yeah.
All the time. And I feel like it's actually been so therapeutic. And yes. Yeah. And it really just helps you like not care what people think. And I truly can say, I think I really don't care what people think. I really don't think I care what people think. And for me, especially when I feel like I'm being my authentic self.
Yeah.
Because that was like the hard thing with the swinging thing is that there were so many misconceptions. Because I'm like, judge me on who I am, not who you think I am. And so I feel like it's been and obviously like financially, it's as a single mom, like that's a big reason why I even did it. And I think I've really come into myself since doing it. And I'm glad that I actually followed through.
Well, I'm so happy you did. I think everyone is. Like you were an OG, which I'm surprised you didn't use that when they were also like cold to you in season 2 and like wouldn't let you into the Mom Talk group. Like what made you decide to let that go and not be like, hi.
Yeah.
I was an OG.
I made some comments. Obviously like not all of it was aired, but I made some comments for sure. However, I knew I couldn't just come in guns a-blazing and being like, hey, I built this brick by brick with Taylor, okay? Like that
you're on my back.
Yeah, literally. You're welcome, by the way. Because sometimes, that's like how I felt. Sometimes I wanted to be like, hey, so like respectfully, Taylor didn't do Mom Talk by herself. Like, because obviously Taylor is like the centerpiece of all of it. But it's like the whole beginning of it, the foundation, I hate saying the foundation of Mom Talk, but the foundation of Mom Talk
was built on your back.
Yeah. And so sometimes, like I did want to just be like, wake up, come on. Like, what do you mean? Also, I'm like, hey, I did my time. Okay.
Yeah.
Like years of it. And I'm like, now I'm coming back and I'm like ready to be open and authentic and transparent. And so, it was frustrating for sure, but I also understood like, the girls' hesitations and like my reasonings and so on. So, also, I'm understanding from that aspect. And I knew I was on thin ice coming back and I wanted to play my cards right. And I also wanted them to like me. Like I didn't want to just like come in and come off as like entitled because I'm like, really, like, all of us are replaceable. Let's be honest, except maybe Taylor, but like aside from that, like we really are. And so I'm self-aware enough to know that. But I think at first it was hard for sure, but I'm glad I approached it the way I did. I think obviously in the end it served me.
No, 1,000% it did. But we did see how like cold they were in the beginning. Was it like that off camera too? Like, do you feel like anybody in the group was like trying to be your friend?
Jen and Whitney. I was actually like probably I would say closest to them when and like and the girls were like, well, I think they just are like latching to Miranda because they're on the outs with everyone right now, and which I'm like, honestly, whether or not it's like convenient for them, I'm like, I don't really know their intentions, but like I know that they're being nice to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not up to me for me to like, I don't, it's not fair for me to put that on them.
Right.
If I don't know that and I know that they're being kind. And to me, I'm like, that's always going to mean something.
For sure.
And so I, you know, and I will say too, like, I feel like I was pretty closed off to season 1 just because I'm like, it was new. I was unfamiliar. I like was obviously the odd one out. I'm like, I don't really know these girls well. Like, it's an intimidating situation,
Yeah.
but like, I'm so grateful that I stuck with it and that I've been able to get to know all the girls well. And I feel like I have a great relationship with all of them. So
good.
yeah.
What about Demi?
Oh, I guess except for me. I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah, forgot about that one.
I forgot.
I'm like, oh yeah.
You know, we did see you on the show, like, stand your ground with her. Because that's the thing. You're very level-headed and chill until someone does something where you're like, no, I need to set you straight.
Yeah.
This is the truth. How was that dynamic?
Yeah.
Because from the beginning, she was very adamant, like, Chase touched me, Chase hit me, Chase pushed me. From the beginning, when she kind of went off about that, even in was it season 1 when that happened? Yeah, season 1.
2.
Did it already put a bad taste in your mouth where you were like, I don't think I like Demi?
Honestly, not like when it all happened, not really, because Chase was really out of line that night.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also at the end of the day, he shouldn't have touched her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I 100%. And that was my thing, is that I'm like, that's not the argument here.
Yeah.
Like, we can agree on that 100%. But the jump to it being a shove is where I take issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think I'm also at a point in my life as well where, because I'm sick of being taken advantage of, and I think my kindness has often been mistaken for weakness, that when I have something to say and it's something like, there's not a lot that really riles me up, but if there is something that riles me up, like, I'm going to tell you. And, you know, I'm going to try my best to approach it in a way that's still, you know, as kind as I guess you're deserving of at the time.
Yeah.
But I also like don't want to make it bigger. Like, I don't want to make it unnecessarily. It didn't need to become a whole thing. And so I was just like, the fact that this is like now a whole thing is annoying. So I'm like, let's just put this to bed. And yeah, so I mean, that's why I was called her out. I think too, I had heard Jessie had told me that she said she regretted the way that she handled the way everything went down at the Halloween party. So then when we did Entertainment Tonight and she like doubled down, yeah, I was like taken back. And I remember Taylor, I don't think you can tell, like, I don't know, maybe I actually like need to watch it back and see, but Taylor could tell like in my body language in that moment when she doubled down that I was like upset.
Yeah.
And Taylor goes, say it. She goes, say it. She like leans over to say it. And which honestly I think is probably part of why I spoke up. Like, yeah. I really appreciate that she did that, because I was like, yeah, I should say it. Like, I was trying to be professional, but I'm also like, what do you mean? Like you would do it again? Sorry? So yeah, so I was like, okay. So yeah, and that's just when I was like, wait, you wouldn't, like, really?
Gloves off.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Yeah, gloves off, yeah. But anyway, yeah, so obviously we're not close.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Well, and then, you hear back watching the scene where she's on the phone and Brett calls you white trash, which here you are on Weekly Trash.
Yeah, which fitting.
White trash.
Yeah.
Should that be the title of the episode? White trash?
It should actually. That'd be hilarious.
I think that's what the title is. Did you know that conversation before it aired? Like, did anyone give you a heads up? Did she say, hey, just so you know, I know? Like, that was your first time seeing it?
No, my first time seeing it was, we got to see this season right before, the reunion.
But like, that was your first time was on camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you think about that?
Honestly, I laughed.
Okay.
I laughed. I genuinely thought it was hilarious, just because I'm like, if somebody says something about me and I just like, to my core, I know it's not true.
Yeah.
It just, and also like just the context behind all of it, I'm just like, I also know that I would do it again. I would respond the same way again had I had the chance to. I'm like, okay, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Like, I'll be white trash. I'm
No,
disgusting.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy. And I know that obviously you guys had the reunion. Do you feel like after the reunion, you feel differently about them at all after like them kind of apologizing?
Um, yes and no. Yes and no.
Sorry to interrupt, but today's episode is brought to you by Minky Couture. You will never want to buy another blanket ever again. I would know because I've had lots of blankets, and ever since I got that one viral blanket that you see online, the Minky Couture blanket, I am confidently telling you that it is the best blanket ever. Everyone needs to have something as cozy as Minky in their home. There's nothing quite like coming home after a long day and cuddling up with your Minky Couture blanket. They are soft and luxurious, and it feels like a cuddling cloud. Okay, just cuddle it up. There's so many different types of blankets out there, but seriously, nothing compares to Minky Couture. They have the largest selection of colors, sizes, and patterns on the market. They are the creator of the original Hugs blanket, a double-sided, stretchy, and plush style that literally hugs you back. I've never had a blanket that even comes close to my Minky Hugs. Minky Couture is a female-owned business started by a mother who wanted to provide luxurious comfort to her daughter through a tough time. Since 2009, Minky Couture has been able to bring comfort and luxury to homes all over the world. Passionate about giving back to the community, they donate over 30,000 mini Minkies to NICUs across the country every year. And lucky for you guys, I have partnered with Minky Couture to bring this comfort and luxury into your home by offering listeners an exclusive 50% off discount. That's right, 50% off. Use your code weeklytrash at checkout for 50% off your next purchase on all full priced items. You can use it in store or online at softminkyblankets.com. Again, use code weeklytrash for 50% off your next purchase and treat yourself to the best blanket ever. Follow them on Instagram for additional deals and updates at Minky Couture. Thanks, Minky, for sponsoring today's episode.
I said on the show that I stand by this, that I like to make and develop my own opinions on people.
Yeah.
Obviously, if somebody does my friend dirty, I'm like, automatically, you're going to kind of be on my shit list. But at that point with Demi, I was just like, well, like, I don't feel like she's done anything like crazy enough for me to just like cut her off and be cold to her. When I feel like we've had a pretty good relationship. But there does also come a point when people are doing things to your friends consistently where you're like, okay. And so regardless, take the whole white trash thing, the whole shove gate, whatever it is, out of it.
Gate. I love that.
Out of it. Even just the way that I've seen her continue to treat Jesse, and it to me is just, it contributes to the distaste.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have Jesse's back in that as well. And so it makes it hard to mend any relationship when you continue to see patterns,
That's very valid. I love seeing Chase defend you online though. And honestly, the whole internet defend you when that whole thing came out. Were you expecting to receive like as much love as you have?
No, not really. I mean, honestly, I actually made a TikTok about this the other day because I was going through some of my DMs.
Yeah.
And they were so... I haven't posted it because I am honestly kind of a boob in it. I'm just like crying because I'm like, I had a moment probably like 4-ish days after it aired. I had a moment because I was sitting in my bed and it was like a flashback to back when the whole swinging thing happened. And I remember just being so depressed. And I was like laying in bed back then, just like physically... do you know that feeling, and I know you've talked openly about being depressed and experiencing depression and anxiety, but I had never really I feel like everything in the past had been like very, smaller things, situationally whatever. Yeah. And I think with this, it was the first time I ever experienced like true, deep, dark depression where it was like physically visceral and
you feel
painful.
sick, yeah.
And, and I think going from that, and then every time you open your phone, there's people like you're getting death threats, and people
completely different energy.
Completely different energy, and
you're being bullied
totally on a regular basis. And also, like, I'm way more equipped to handle that kind of stuff now too than back then. And also, people didn't understand what was going on behind closed doors. Of like, my marriage was falling apart. I'm in the midst of a faith crisis, and then suddenly I'm also being bullied online. You
were kind of postpartum too,
right? I had recently had a baby. So many different things. And I remember thinking, like, how could there possibly be? And I've always I've always been the type of person that's thought that everything kind of happens for a reason. And I think that in that moment, I was like, there's no way that there's a purpose for this. There's no way there's a reason for this. Like, I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. And spoiler, there was light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm in it. And I just had such an overwhelming feeling of gratitude that I like just like broke down crying, because I'm just like, again, like it was very validating going back to the feelings that I was having when it came to making the decision to join the show, because I'm like, it's yes, the financial component, and maybe people can say like, yeah, the fame is great, whatever, but it's like, it's not even that. It's truly like being seen for who I feel like I try to be, and to have that be appreciated after being torn apart and misunderstood for so long, which I can also take accountability for the fact that, a lot of that was very much my own doing, for sure. And I recognize that. And I think, I've just tried to make right by it as I've evolved and matured and grown up. And I think that, I just had a moment of just overwhelming gratitude where I was just so, so grateful. And I am so grateful. And so for everyone that's been so kind and so nice, and having people in my DMs being like, I like would love if my daughter like grew up to be like you. Oh, it makes me emotional. Thank you. Yeah, no, people have been really nice. So I'm very grateful. Like, it's crazy. You wouldn't think like doing reality TV, knock on wood, because like, see, it can change season to season. Yeah, it can change season to season. But you would never think that by doing reality TV that you would become more yourself. People would see you for who you are more, and that you would get more love than before, when I was just an influencer and shared way less of my life.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, but yeah, overall, I'm very, very grateful. Very grateful.
Well, and it probably is such, like you said, an amazing feeling when a couple of years ago, nobody would have said, I hope my daughter turns out like you.
No.
Because it was so negative.
Yeah.
It was so hateful. It was also wrong and not accurate. But then to see people finally seeing you for who you are, and to say like, I want my daughter to be like you. I want to be like you.
Yeah.
Let's all be more like Miranda.
Yeah.
When for so long it was
the total opposite. Yeah.
And you never deserved that.
Yeah.
And I know you know that deep down, but like, to finally be able to see yourself being seen by other people is probably it's
very validating.
So validating.
Yeah,
Not that you need the validation.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think especially too, like when I joined the show too, I made a promise to myself that if I'm going to do this, I am me. I'm not doing anything anybody tells me to. I'm not being someone I'm not. And it is hard in that space, because you do sometimes get rewarded for bad behavior.
Yeah. Like if you add drama, it's good.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for me, I'm like, I just know if I'm going to hand my mic in and get my car to drive home, am I going to have regrets in the way something just played out? Am I going to can I go home and lay my head down at night and be okay with who I am and how I'm showing up? And if the answer is no, then this isn't for me, and I shouldn't have agreed to this. And if I'm going to do it, I'm doing it my way, and I am being myself. That doesn't mean that like there has still been moments, not like obviously tons of things get cut. There's still moments that I'm like, ooh, like, but that's life.
Yeah.
That's not like, you're still going to have regrets.
We all make mistakes.
Right, exactly.
We're living for the first time. Yours just happened to be on camera.
Yeah, exactly. So I still have those moments, and I still have a long way to go before I'm like, who I fully want to be. And I'm, a very flawed human, just like everyone else as well. But I Do you feel like I try to make the promises that I keep to myself, and I feel like so far I've done that when it comes to filming, and it's really nice to have people see that for sure.
No, you're a very genuine person. As
Thank
someone
you.
who has known you for a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time now.
A long time.
Yeah.
You really are. And you've always been that way. And I'm glad that people see that now. But on the show, you really are like level-headed, true to who you are. Your storyline was pretty much just that, like level-headed.
Yes.
There was nothing huge in your storyline. Was there anything going on that didn't make the cut? Any filming or anything that you wish was more of your storyline?
I mean, there are always things.
Yeah.
But it's hard too, because I'm like, I feel like I'm just now starting to like date more and stuff. Like, I think that's something that people are interested in.
Yeah.
But like, I don't really go out. I don't
Yeah.
really like, my social hour is like, and I will here and there, but it's like it's kind of few and far between.
Yeah.
My social hours work most of the time. And it can be draining. And so for me, I'm like, it's just been, I've been prioritizing my career and my kids. And that's really like, that's my number one. And so anything beyond that kind of takes a back seat. But I also am like, oh, I would like to maybe like find someone someday. So maybe I should get out of my house. Maybe I should, I don't know, start hanging out with people. But, and then, yeah, I think there are a lot that people will start to see more of.
Okay.
People might start to see more of like me and Chase's co-parent relationship and, things like that. But the main thing is like the funny things that get cut that I find are hilarious.
Yeah. Do they show you any bloopers?
No, I wish.
Secret Life of Mormon Wives, start doing bloopers.
No, they should. They should start doing that and like putting them on our the Secret Lives page.
Yes,
they should. That would be funny.
No, I'm taking credit if they start doing it. Do it.
Yeah. Do it, and give us a commission.
You deserve it.
Yeah, right.
Those are the most vulnerable parts.
No, truly. No, I think that would be hilarious though. That
would be so funny. But those are the funny parts that like
those are the ones that I'm like, dang it, that didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
Are the ones that like the hilarious things that happen. So yeah, maybe we're onto something there.
Maybe we did, but like you said, we'll probably see more of like yours and Chase's dynamic.
Yeah.
We did get to see, Chase and Taylor at the end of season 3, which I can't. What were your thoughts on it? Because obviously I know, and I think majority of people know, even if they listen to the episode with Chase, that like at the end of the day, like him and Taylor aren't going to fall in love probably. That's not going to be a thing. But obviously there was history there. Was that triggering for you to know that he was going to go on this date, if that's what we're calling it, a date with Taylor?
Yeah. I think a lot of that everyone will see unfold.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can really speak that much on that.
Yeah.
But it's obviously no secret that like Chase has it out for my friend group. I fear.
Yeah. His roster is pretty much your friend group. Yeah.
But yeah. I'm like,
if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Will that play out?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
But yeah, Chase likes Miranda's friends.
Yeah. I'm like,
a little too much.
Yeah. I'm like, I also like them. I don't sleep with them. Well,
yeah.
People might think otherwise with Taylor, but
that
actually never happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, we'll see more of that play out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to see that. Do you think that Chase being on the show is good for you guys? Like, how do you feel about him being part of the cast if he is part of the cast?
Fun fact, Chase being nowhere near the show for my first season was like a big contingency for me. Big contingency. I was like, if you guys are wanting Chase to be a part of this, it's going to be a no for me, dog.
Yeah.
It's going to be a no for me, dog. We were still like very much trying to find our footing with co-parenting. Yeah. And I like wanted to, and I was in a relationship at the time too, and wanted to be respectful of that. And, so yeah, it was a big no. I feel like Chase has slowly earned his way into me being more and more open to the idea. But I'm like, too many wrong missteps, my guy. And
cut off. You're cut off with the coattails.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, is I'm like, look, as much as I could throw a fit about it, I'm also like, you were like involved in the past of it all, the come up of that, what is mom talk to some degree, I suppose, anyway. So it's like, I get it. And also like for my kid's sake too, I like, and also like as a friend, I would love to see him like succeed and whatever. I just want him to do it, respectfully and be mindful of the fact that we have kids that are watching us on and off camera. And so that's really all I ask for him is don't humiliate and make a fool out of me, and don't humiliate and make a fool out of our kids. Beyond that, do your thing. Same thing with dating. I tell him the same thing. I'm like, I don't care what you do. I don't care who you date.
Yeah.
Just don't let it disturb my peace.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
For sure. And maybe you can't answer this because maybe it'll play out in season 4, but like in a different universe, if Taylor and Chase were endgame, how would you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't think that would be I don't think that would be for me.
Yeah.
For them, for me, for anyone.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. Okay, so we did see Kate and Chase. Mm-hmm. You and Kate got really close. Where does that friendship stand now that they're not together anymore? Yeah. And I know that's a hard dynamic to be in because you guys became friends because of Chase. Yeah. So how's that dynamic going?
Yeah. Kate and I aren't as close as we were, and that's not anything that I'm like, Kate's a bad person or like it truly, I think Kate's a sweetheart. I think she's a great person. I think that, it got hard because I have no interest in being involved in Chase's relationships. Yeah. Obviously it's very important that I get along with whoever he dates and whoever's around my kids. That's important to me. It's also important that he do the same with whoever I date. And I think that, within their relationship dynamic, that became something I wasn't supportive of because they weren't good for each other. Yeah. And it made it difficult because, like I would hear things from her and then it would make me upset with him because I'm like, okay, well, why, like, obviously this is like a friend of mine now. And like, why aren't you treating her well? Like, get it together. And among like a bunch of other things as well that like we won't get into, but I think, there are plenty of other things that I just get annoyed with Chase about. His relationships doesn't need to be one of them. Yeah. Like we have a good co-parent relationship. We're friends, but the part of that is because I feel like I have boundaries held and I can compartmentalize things. And but again, because of those boundaries, I also want to make sure that, I'm protecting my peace. And if, your relationship is disturbing our co-parent relationship, I feel like I can't really support that. And, I think that I want to see them both be in good, happy relationships. And unfortunately, I just don't think that that's them together. And Agreed. That's really where that is.
Yeah, no, that is like a tough spot for you to be in when you're like, and because you're such like a kind, want to help everyone person where you do have to set those boundaries of like, I can't help
you guys fix
I can't
this.
do
It's
this.
not my, not
this.
my fish to fry.
But let's talk about your love life. Are you single?
I am.
Because you did say like you don't really go out and about, but we did see you with a singer, Tucker Wetmore. Is that how you pronounce his last name? Wetmore?
Yes. Yep.
Wetmore.
Yeah. If I had a dime for every time I was asked about this lately.
Yeah. How did you two meet? Are you guys friends? Are you friendly? What's going on there? Because you were at a game in Utah.
Yeah. He performed in Salt Lake.
Okay, he didn't fly out just for you.
And no.
Okay.
No.
Maybe though.
No. Him and I both have incredibly crazy schedules. I mean, he's on tour right now and I'm filming nonstop, it feels like. But yeah, he's one of those people where you just, when you get a vibe that somebody is just like a to their core, like good person. Yeah. I think especially with musicians, you don't expect that.
No. No, you do not. Yeah. Especially attractive, successful musicians.
Yes.
No, I would not put good person on the top of what I think they are.
You wouldn't think so. Yeah. No, he's definitely does not fit that stereotype.
Oh, good.
Very, very like great person from what, I know about him. But yeah, like we've chatted and I think he's great. And
Kissed?
All right, next question.
I love just like teasing you a little. But like, what's your type? Is your type a celebrity? Like, do you feel like you need to date someone who's in the same world as you?
No, not really. I
Okay.
just don't know how to like. I just don't know how to meet. Honestly, like I haven't really dated because I obviously jumped into a relationship post divorce, and then obviously that didn't work out. So I'm like I haven't dated since I was, let's see, I got married at 20. So since I was 19,
Yeah, it's
probably
been
the
a
last
while.
time. Like it's been a minute. So I'm a little rusty as it is. And then you add, having a platform and being a public figure, whatever, all of that onto it. And it's just like, how do you, and I don't date in Utah, especially. Like I just don't
Really?
have, I mean, you know how to, it's
Yeah,
small
no,
lake city. I like
everyone knows everyone. Everyone's dated everyone.
my
Slim pickings.
my ex-husband being prime example of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't really have an interest in it. And like again, if I don't really like put myself out there, I guess if something falls in my lap, like sure. And I've hung out with people, but like I don't really go on dates much and whatnot. So I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it just dating looks so different to me now than it used to. I don't like have a preference as far as like he has to be famous or he can't be famous. Like it's just I'm open to whatever. It just as long as they're a good person and I feel like they're a good fit. But I don't know. I have a lot of negative belief systems and perceptions when it comes to like dating and men, I think. So I think I'm trying to work through those too because I feel like with most things, I feel like I have a very abundant mindset. But when it comes to men and dating, I have a very lack mindset, which I don't feel like serves me a lot right now. And it hasn't been a priority to me. Like I've really, like I said, I've just been focusing on my kids and my career and, but I'm open to whatever. And I don't know. I think I'm at a point now where I'm like, well, I think I would like to put myself out there more, but I'm also like, I don't really know how.
Yeah. Who has advice?
Yeah. I'm like, help me.
Help.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see.
Today's episode is brought to you by Boom Trashers. You already know I'm going to put you on the good stuff. If you need holiday outfits, winter outfits, any outfits really, Boom is the move. Their sweaters, so good. Their dresses, I'm obsessed. I swear every time I go to their site, there's something new and I'm like, okay, fine, add to cart. There's seriously so much. So if you want to be cute this season, and I know you do, go shop Boom and use code TRASHER20 for 20% off. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Again, that's boom.com, BOHME, code TRASHER20. Love ya. And thanks, Boom, for sponsoring today's episode. Today's episode is also brought to you by Shed, the easiest way to start your weight health journey. With Shed, it only takes 3 minutes to get started. You'll fill out a quick online form with your goals and health history, and their medical team will create a personalized treatment plan just for you. Everything happens online. No doctor's offices, no pharmacy lines. Your FDA-approved medication ships straight to your door. And the best part, you're not doing it alone. Shed pairs you with a dedicated member success team to help you track progress and stay motivated along the way. Clinically studied treatments, no insurance required, and zero hassle. Get $100 off your first month by using the link in the show notes. Shed is making health simple, effective, and actually doable. Thank you, Shed, for sponsoring today's episode. Have people slid into your DMs? Like, have you had any people where you're like, oh, you know me?
Yeah.
You watch my stuff?
There's been a few people. I won't put anybody on blast.
Right. But you've definitely had that.
Yeah.
I'm sure your DMs are a fun time.
They're mostly scary. Mostly a very scary place to be. Yeah.
Have you gotten dick pics?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like I said, a very, very scary place.
Do you have someone manage your social media or do you do it? Because that would be hard.
That's why it's so hard to ever get to like DMs and like it's a lot. It's a lot. But it's also, how do you really trust somebody with that?
No, I feel the same way. Like I don't want anyone having access to my
That's
social
why
media.
I have an assistant and then I have my my team, my manager and my team with that. So I'm like, they take care of everything else so that I can take care of stuff like that. But I mean, I still feel like it's
overwhelming.
On top of being a mom, it's a lot.
It's impossible.
For sure. Yeah.
For sure. When it comes to dating though, would you get married again? Because I know you said like the way you look at men is kind of tainted.
Yeah.
Would you want marriage?
I think so. Yeah, I think I would like to get married again at some point. I I think deep down I'm like a hopeless romantic.
Yeah.
But I also like I'm not willing to compromise, especially now I'm not willing to compromise what I'm looking for, and I would truly rather like die alone. Like
Yeah.
I also love my alone time.
Yeah, you said that last time too.
Yes. And like even more now than I probably even did then. Like I cannot picture ever living with a man again. I love my alone time. I love my space. And, like if I were to start dating more consistently and more seriously, like it's not other men that a man would be in competition with. It's truly my solitude and my peace. And that's way more intimidating for you to compete with than any other man.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's just like, I'm okay being alone. I'm like, I do want to find love again. I do want to find a partner again, but I do feel like the bar is far higher than it used to be. And so we'll see. We'll see. I don't even know how to like meet those kinds of men. So that's why I'm like, you know what? It'll fall in my lap, I hope.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think with the way you're going and the way you like look at life, like everything happens for a reason. If it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be. Like it will come into your lap, I feel like.
I'm like calling it in.
Yeah, you're manifesting it. Would you
Right.
want more kids?
I'd be open to it. I
Okay.
think I would, again, that's another thing where I'm like, I would be okay to not have more kids, but I would also be open to having more. I think it would depend on if my person had kids of their own or not, and if they wanted kids. But I would be open to having one or two more, as miserable as pregnant. That would be hard to go back to.
I know, pregnancy.
Like after being out of it for so long now, pregnancy and postpartum and everything. But
And being filmed, if you were still doing reality TV at that point.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that would be rough. So it would be hard, but I would be open to it if I found the right person. And I think also if I found the right person and I was truly like really in love with them, I think the idea of like sharing that and having a child together, I think that would be a beautiful thing and something that would probably excite me at that point.
Yeah. For sure. Because it is exciting. It's like part of you and part of them and this beautiful baby. And
Yeah.
no, having a baby is never a mistake.
And Brooks and Coco talk about wanting a sibling all
Really?
the time.
You're like,
Especially lately.
Chase is like, let's have another.
Oh, for sure. He's like, he always says like platonic third. I'm like, look, if I ever, which I wouldn't, but if I ever, hypothetically, if I ever had another child with you, it's going to be IVF for me. Sorry. Like a lot of people think too, people assume that
you're still like
that we've like
active?
that we've hooked up. So I'm like, nope.
When was the last time you kissed him?
Before I said I wanted a divorce.
Really?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Never, ever, ever have we done anything like sexual, even
Good
so much
for
of a kiss since the day. Here's the thing. When people are like, I think like they would maybe get back together, like I could see it happening. No, because when I made that decision, I wasn't going to make a life-altering decision like that, especially for my kids. It was already heartbreaking as it was. I'm not making that decision unless I am so damn sure. And there was no going back for me once. Like I knew once I made that decision, and there hasn't been since the day I told him I want a divorce. There was no looking back, and there has not been a single day since that I have regretted it or that I felt like I made the wrong decision.
Yeah.
And like we're so clearly better as co-parents, and our kids are like happier, and I get to like create such a peaceful environment in my home that is just such a safe and secure environment for me and for them. And also like, it's not mom and dad fighting all the time. And even when Chase comes over, it's positive because he comes by, drops off the kids. He might hang out for a little bit. And like, we rarely fight.
Yeah.
And so, but where before it was like all the time we were fighting toward the end. And so for me, I'm like, no, this is like the right decision. And he agrees now too, that it was for sure for the best. But yeah, I'm like, I fought tooth and nail and went through hell making that decision. There's no going back for me.
No going back. You were very confident in that decision.
Yeah.
And you do have a lot of confidence, which I kind of want to talk about that too, because you're gorgeous. Everyone knows that. But being on TV, having, people even yourself, like seeing yourself on TV all the time is really hard.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're a confident person, but have you ever struggled with self-confidence? Because I think we talked about the very first time you came on about being on the internet and like self-confidence, but where does that stand now?
Yeah. I for sure have my insecurities just like anybody else. I think what's really important for me is my insecurities are not anybody else's problem.
Yeah.
And I think that I've had relationships or friendships in the past where it feels like those, another person's insecurities will get projected onto you, or, just people around them, whether it's conscious or subconscious. And it can really damage friendships and relationships and so on. And I think that that's something, if I have an insecurity, I'm going to look inward. I'm not, because there's something in me that's like, if I'm feeling that way, then that's something inside me that I need to reflect on. Why do I feel that way? What is this stemming from? It's not, I feel this way, so I need to like get more validation from others. Yeah. And if your confidence is fueled from the validation from others rather than you internally knowing your own self-worth, then it's not, that's false confidence anyway. Yeah. And I think that, like I said, it also comes back to keeping promises to yourself. And the more you do that, the more you build that confidence in yourself. Because if you're constantly letting yourself down, like you're not going to have that confidence. Yeah. And you're also not going to be able to, you're also going to let other people down. And so, yeah, I for sure have insecurities, and they come, they go. I think at the end of the day, like what has helped me more than anything is finding and holding my authenticity. And I think just finding out what I believe about myself, what I believe about the world, what I believe about things socially and even politically, so many different, religiously, all of those things, figuring out, doing the necessary things and taking the necessary steps to figure out how I feel about them, because we're all raised with certain biases, right? Yeah. And, becoming self-aware enough to know that, oh, maybe those aren't true. That's just what I've been taught. That's just how I've been raised. What do I actually believe? And recognizing that it doesn't have to align with what your friends think, what your family thinks, what your religion thinks, and really holding true to that, I think will help you find that authenticity and in turn that confidence. And I think that's something that I've been able to do, where I'm like, I don't feel like I don't need to be at the forefront of, I don't need to have all the screen time in order for me to feel good about myself. Yeah. I don't need to have all of these friends in order for me to feel good about myself. I don't need to have all these external things that play into how I see myself, because like the way I see myself then projects outwardly, and I get things because it's from an inward place, right? And again, that's not to say at all that I don't have my own insecurities. It's how you deal with them. Yeah, because we all have them, right? But yeah, and also seeing yourself on camera and whatever, that's always, well, your angles, your sides, well, and you don't get to say anything about it.
It's like not even just like your inner confidence, but like the self-image side of it, because you've talked about before how you struggled with really bad acne, and you were super insecure about your skin and things like that. Your skin looks flawless. Oh, thank you. By the way, you. What do you do? What are you using? Thank you. But like, how did you overcome that side of confidence too, where it's outwardly and it's not just internal, it's the way you look, like physically?
Yeah. For sure. Actually, I've been wanting to make more content on the whole skin thing too, because I had someone message me. I've actually had a handful of people message me or comment like that in certain clips too on this last season, you can see that I have like skin texture and stuff. And I'm like, and I've also like talked openly about the fact that I'm like, yeah, I use the beauty filter and whatever, like for sure. I will always be transparent about that. But, and I've also like made a lot of content showing like before and afters and my skin journey. And I've been wanting to do an updated one on that as well, because I don't want people to think that I have perfect skin or that I don't have insecurities physically or anything like that, because for sure that's been one of them. And even in season 4, there's a clip where we went to, it was like some facial thing or something. And I had like a really bad reaction to I like was kind of broken out, but then I had a really bad reaction to like some skincare that I tried. And I was like, I don't want to put anything on my face. I don't want them. One, I didn't want my makeup taken off because I was like, I don't feel secure right now in how I look. But 2, I also didn't want any other products being placed on my skin. And anyway, they did it anyway. And I remember being like, feeling just so vulnerable and also like just anxious because I'm like, how is my skin also like hurt?
Yeah.
And so I'm like this, like, I just feel awful. I feel awful. And I like just wanted to go home. I like remember feeling like emotional about it and whatever. And we'll like obviously see if it if it airs or not. But I think you'll have moments like that all the time. Or like even sometimes at Stagecoach, like when you're in a swimsuit, you're like, this is so fun being on camera in a swimsuit.
Which is crazy because people would never think that you would ever feel that way.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's the thing is I think people assume that's what I don't want people to assume. Because I totally have my insecurities. I have, I have stretch marks, but my stretch marks don't really bother me, but I have a lot of loose skin, I feel like, on my stomach that like sometimes it like changes the way my belly button looks. And I was just telling Layla the other day, I was like, maybe I'll get like, I don't know if I'll like I don't think I would do anything that would be like a procedure, but I'm like, maybe I'll do like some sort of like microneedling or lasering or whatever on it. But I'm like, at the end of the day, then she's like, I would never even think that that's like, like it looks normal. It looks fine to me. But it's one of those things where it's like other people aren't thinking that, but you're thinking that. And yeah, I would never want people to think that I don't have those because it doesn't matter. It kind of goes back to like the cheating thing, right? It's like it's typically something they lack, not something you lack, because you see people like Beyonce get cheated on, Megan Fox, Halle Berry, like the most beautiful women that you're like, there's no way they're like, how would anybody cheat on them?
Yeah.
Or it doesn't matter like how you look or who, it just, no matter what, you're going to have insecurities and men will probably do you dirty.
Facts.
You heard it here first.
Facts. But I also think it's important to understand like that you are confident in how beautiful you are too, because I think that is super important. I feel like women feel like they have to be like, no, I'm not pretty. No, I don't. No, you are pretty. You're hot. You look good. And like, I think women need to be better also owning that part. Cause I think it's fair to say we all have insecurities. And like, I love that you're open about talking about your skin and like wanting people to see that like you're not perfect. But I also think it's really empowering when you do show off how beautiful you are, because I think women need to show that part of themselves too. And we don't need to like dumb ourselves down to make other people feel good about themselves.
And I think that is something I used to do, is put myself in a box and like, I don't want to shine too bright because I don't want to risk outshining anyone else.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make anybody else feel uncomfortable. So like, I'll just like
be small.
I'll be small and I'll stay small to make everybody feel uncomfortable, or to make everybody feel comfortable. And like, that leads me to feeling uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And so I think there's for sure a balance of being transparent and being authentic and saying like, yeah, I have these insecurities, but like, I also like, I feel confident in who I am. And like, I do think that I am pretty. And like, here are my routines that help me look like this or help me feel like this. But, finding that balance of yes, I have this confidence, but also, yes, I am still human and I have insecurities. And both things can be true.
Yeah. You can have humility and be humble and still be confident.
And still be confident. Right.
I love that. Last question before you leave, kind of related to the show, is we've seen a lot of the girls use the show success to like have other opportunities. Like Whitney's going to be on Broadway. Mm-hmm. Jessie's, expanding her hair. And then we have Macy writing a book. Would you want to start something outside of the show, like a brand or a company or something you're passionate about? Mm-hmm. Like, what would that be?
I don't know if, I feel like I can probably talk about this.
Okay.
But I've always had such a passion for music.
Okay.
That's I've posted like some singing videos recently.
No, you're incredible.
Thank you. I feel like incredible. I still like, see, that's one thing I'll get in my head about for sure. And like get kind of insecure about, just because when I was young, I did I had a vocal coach and I did like recitals and everything when I was little. My sister and I actually did the American Idol tour bus thing.
You did?
We got to the, which was so great. I was like, what, a freshman? No, probably 8th grade. I was young.
Gosh.
Yeah, I was so young. And yeah, we got
and
to like the next round together. It was the like the tour bus.
Okay.
So it was the tour bus thing where like you then like had to go, it was like Chicago or something after that. Anyway, but I was at the time like volleyball was my life, and I was on a competitive club team, and so that like to me meant more than singing. But yeah, I think for me, I'm like, I feel like I have a lot of, you know, in getting a vocal coach and getting back into playing guitar, piano, all of that. That's all like, I feel like I'm starting all over very loosely.
But
like
still.
very, very loosely. I did when I was young, but like I said, it's been so long. So I feel like I'm all of that. It's like, I feel like I'm starting over. And because I think after I got married and started having babies, you kind of are just like this is my purpose now.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I'm supposed to do. So yeah, that's something that I would love to do. I have like journals from when I was a little girl. I would write songs all the time and just like sing them in my room. And that was like my life though when I was a little girl. So I feel like it's very healing to my inner child, kind of like playing around with that creative side of me again. And that's something that I think people might see more of in the future. So.
We would die for that. We would love that. Would you lean towards more like the country music side?
I think so. Like I feel like that's the type of music I gravitate more towards. And I feel like my voice feels like more suited for that. But also like, I think I'm like open to maybe like a little bit of pop, but we'll see. I think as time goes on, and also like my style of songwriting plays a role in that too. Yeah. And you know, which side that leans more towards. Mm-hmm. I'm not 100% sure yet, but we'll see where it goes.
Well, because the talent you have is insane.
Oh, like, thanks.
People who hear you on TikTok, they know. And just knowing that that's something you actually would want to pursue, like fireworks in my brain. Like the next time you probably come and sit down, you're going to have an album.
Oh my gosh.
Like I see that for you with just like all the girls and all the success that they've been able to make for themselves outside of the show. Because you all have insane talents and abilities outside of being a reality TV star. Like you have star quality, obviously. That's why you were casted. You all had great social media followings. People loved to watch you. But there's more to you than just that. And to see all of you guys really lean into those parts of yourselves has been amazing.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
You've all been so successful at it. So I already know, like, girl, you manifest it. You put that in there. It's happening. You're going to open for Tucker.
Oh my gosh.
You guys are going to do a song together and you're going to open for him. I'm manifesting it. I'm calling it. If it happens. If it happens, I called it. But Miranda, I seriously love you. Everything about you. You're the best.
Thank you.
And everyone knows that and everyone loves you. And I hope that you continue to have this love throughout the seasons and you don't turn into a villain.
Thank you. I also hope that.
I don't think they could if they tried.
I don't know. I guess it depends on how dirty people do me, because I feel like lately I've been getting spicier and spicier.
But it's warranted. That's the thing. I feel like even if you got spicy, people would have your back. They'd be like, no, Miranda means business and we love her. Yeah. We love
and
her
also
for that.
like, I don't expect people to always agree with me.
Right.
Like, I know that there's going to be times, like I said, things change season to season. And as long as like I would do it again, I don't, and I would double down on what I said and what I did. I'm like, you're going to have hate no matter what. And I can take that, but yeah, no, so far it's definitely been nice to be in the clear of the hate for the most part.
The backlash.
Yes.
Well, if anyone does hate you in the future, I'll have your back. So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. We love you guys. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for taking out trash with us. Thanks for letting me dumpster deep dive you for the third time.
Third time's the charm. The third and most authentic, I would say.
I think so too. It was funny when I reached out to you and I was like, everyone wants you back. You're like, I promise I'll be more honest this time. And it's not that you weren't honest. It was you were protecting your peace.
I was protecting my peace.
I can respect.
And that was, and also in my defense at the time, I was like, there are a lot of things that aren't true.
Yes.
That was being said. So I'm like, it's what is out there is not exactly like completely transparency and truth, you know.
For sure.
Anyway, but yeah, here we are.
If you guys get bored, you can listen to those 2 episodes. I need to listen to that first one. I can't even
I don't think I could.
I can't even imagine what I sound like.
When you posted the picture of us the other day, I said, who are they? I don't know them.
Who are they?
I don't know those women.
Talk about glow ups. Glow ups. I mean, it was mostly me, for being honest. But like, that was bad.
No,
that was bad.
I feel like that
was bad.
Yeah, it was a time.
That was bad, but you were my first real guest. So it's so full circle that you're my last guest of 2025.
I know.
So thanks for being here. No, really, we're going to cry after this.
No, literally. We'll hold each other and cry.
We love each other. Okay, you guys, have the best week. See good, do good. And don't forget to take out your trash. Love you. Bye.
Bye.